Hello, Honest Dan. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It is the 7th installment in this ludicrously profitable and popular film franchise that used to be a successful TV show back in 1966 and ran until 1973. It was revived in 1988 but was cancelled in its second season in 1990. The legacy of the Mission Impossible show lives on in film format and has been running strong since 1996. If that date makes you feel old, it's because you are. You are a dinosaur. Feel self-conscious and ashamed of your age. We see those gray nose hairs. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to see the latest installment and decide if the franchise is finally losing steam. As always, should you or anyone else you take with you to the cinemas be killed, dear God, please don't frickin' die seeing a dang movie, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions. Mostly because the Secretary literally has no idea who you are. I hope. Show me your search history. Hope you enjoy the movie. This mission will self-destruct in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Relax. Be cool. 'Cause if you don't, you'll act like a fool, so be cool.
Hey everybody, welcome to Get Busy Watching! I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. Okay, rapid fire on the Mission Impossible franchise. Mission Impossible. Having revisited it not too long ago, it's not as good as I remember when I was a kid, and can see it being not too popular among hardcore fans of the original show that turned the primary protagonist into a twist villain for bland-ass reasons. I won't deny it has iconic moments. It's a treat to see older faces like Emilio Estevez, John Voight, Jean Reno, and Emmanuel Bart. But that ending twist is the definition of a rush job. Still worth seeing if you're into spy flicks, but it's pretty flawed.
And you really think we can do this?
We're going to do it.
Mission Impossible 2. Definitely the most ridiculous of them all, and that's going to be the reason why you love or hate it. It was half my reasoning for making a whole editorial video about the Mandela effect in movies, so I guess it did something right. Outside of some of the action scenes and characters, it's the most forgettable, so I'm somewhere in the middle. But I do love seeing a baby-faced Tandaway Newton. It's over-the-top nonsense, so take it for what you will.
Just stay alive! I'm not going to lose you!
Mission Impossible 3. This is where the franchise starts getting good. Compared to later installments, it's the worst of the best, but make no mistake, that's no bad thing. Mostly because the late Philip Seymour Hoffman is far and away the best villain of the franchise to date. No one does intimidation like the Hoff Man, and it includes new mainstay Simon Pegg as Benji. Thank God. It's solid, if not drowned by future better sequels.
The only way you're gonna get what you want is for you to... You think I'm playing? You think I'm playing? You don't think I'll do it?
Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, baby.
Now we're talking. The start of Cruise and his crazy stunt phase. Who can forget the faulty magnet gloves on the side of the Burj Khalifa? Or the sandstorm chase? Or the genius real-time motion projector scene? Or the climactic car lot fight scene? There's no shortage of memorable moments. And frankly, as much as I love Rebecca Ferguson, and she's been a marvelous addition to the franchise since her inception, I miss me some Paula Patton. But this was awesome. It's shamelessly fired on all cylinders and is arguably one of the best action movies ever made. Rogue Nation. While not as memorable as Ghost Protocol, no one can deny that the way was paved for how the franchise would go, and there are wonderful additions. Cruise's airplane stunt, the underwater scene, the high-speed motorcycle chase, the inclusion of Rebecca Ferguson, who would be a much beloved mainstay in the franchise and is the first time it would technically be the first of a two-part story arc. It may not be the best installment thanks to a villain that wasn't intimidating, but it's up there.
Go!
It's Benji. Where am I going?
They're coming.
We're not ready.
Then get ready.
Fallout. Not that one. Technically, a direct follow-up to Rogue Nation, as the main antagonist of the story is recycled. A crying shame, as he's still not memorable, nor is he the standout villain. That distinction goes to the inclusion of Superman himself, Henry Cavill, who might just be the second best villain of the franchise. Yeah, reload those muscles and beat the shit out of that stuntman, you gorgeous gamer Brit. Justice League died so Fallout could fly. Ironic. But the Halo jump scene was awesome, the bathroom fight where everyone is progressively getting tired, the climactic helicopter chase, the rooftop run where Cruise famously broke his ankle. Of all the stunts, that's the one that gets him.
Looked like you should have broken your jaw or something like that.
I know, everyone said that was the stunt.
Not the Burj Khalifa, not the airplane, it was the rooftop jump. Cruise, you're getting old, bro. Please, I couldn't do half that crap at 34, and he's doing more at almost twice my age. We're introduced to Vanessa, Girl Get Some Sun, Kirby, and so much more. Just as good as Ghost Protocol? Hard to say, but it's a strong contender if you ask me. Now, here we are after a 5-year wait. Thanks a lot, COVID. At least we had Top Gun Maverick to tidy us over. I was super stoked to see this biznatch, so let's see how it holds up to my expectations. This is my honest opinion of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Ethan Hunt, reprised by Tom Cruise, is back in the first of 2 parts. A rogue AI, simply known as the Entity, has taken highly classified information from across the world powers. 2 keys that form into a single cruciform key have surfaced and believed to unlock the source code of the Entity, and therefore control it. Ethan has chosen to accept this mission and learns that his friend Ilsa Faust, reprised by Rebecca Ferguson, has one half of the key, and Ilsa has a bounty on her head. Teaming up with old friends Benji Dunn, reprised by Simon Pegg, and Luther Stickle, reprised by Ving Rhames, they seek the other half of the cruciform key. New characters are the professional thief Grace, played by Haley Atwell, who attempts to steal the other half of the key without knowing its purpose, and primary antagonist Gabriel, played by Asai Morales, who fanatically follows the Entity's orders and will, and is connected to Ethan's past before he was recruited into the IMF.
Every government on the planet would kill us just to get that key.
Including our own.
Exactly.
Putting us on an unsanctioned mission, which is...
Is it over? Is the intro over? Can we talk about the movie now? It's awesome! That's it. Video's over. Roll the credits. We're done here.
You cool. have fun.
All right. Look, I know that's probably good enough for some of you, but for those of you that actually want kind of an in-depth opinion about what I did like or what I didn't like, well, here's the rest of that opinion. Yes, the movie is awesome. I stand by that. But it does have a couple of problems that I feel are worth addressing. I definitely have my questions, and it is entirely possible that every problem that I'm about to talk about can and will be resolved in part 2, whenever that comes out. But as it stands, I do have to talk about it. But before we get into the positives, let's talk about the one thing that I really didn't agree with, and that is Haley Atwell. I know it's almost like a crime to not like her, but man, I just felt like she was a forced comic relief character, and honestly, I just kind of felt like she was a forced character in general.
Hi.
Hello.
You know the bad comedy that comes out of Marvel movies these days? That felt like Haley's character here. She's just too quippy, which is bizarre to me because we still have Benji, who is the resident comic relief. There is no reason why we should have two. Make no mistake, I love Atwell. She is a wonderful actress, insultingly underused in the Marvel franchise, and definitely deserves to be in a movie like Mission Impossible, if not the Mission Impossible franchise itself. But perhaps not a character like how Grace is written. For a majority of her screen time, the main characters are simply trying to rein her in like a cowboy trying to tame a wild stallion. Maybe that was the point, but when Grace is the reason why the story comes to a screeching halt, and we have entire action sequences that are a direct result of her actions, then I think there is something fundamentally wrong with the character and needs to be cut back a little bit.
You'll protect me. Is that it?
Yes.
No. I can't promise you that.
What concerns me as well is that I feel like I know what the plans are for Grace in the future. My personal theory is that she's a replacement for Rebecca Ferguson. Once again, I love Atwell, but I don't love Grace, and I certainly don't accept her as a replacement for Ilsa. And my final concern is that she's going to be the one to save the day in part 2. The writing feels like it's on the wall. So much of this movie is about two characters, Ethan and the Entity, who have a reputation of anticipating their opponent's moves before they make them.
Hunt is the living manifestation of destiny.
But who could predict Grace? Within the confines of this story, she is a complete unknown to literally everyone. She's disconnected from every character and the entire story. Maybe this will change in part 2, and perhaps she will have a surprise connection to something or someone, but as it stands, this is my prediction, and I really hope I'm wrong.
I tell you a little story.
Oh, you're obviously not the person I came here to meet.
It's your story, Grace. I know how it ends.
I can imagine there's not too many people that will agree with my opinion on this one. The popularity of Marvel's Agent Carter alone makes Atwell immune to criticism. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few weirdos out there that are hoping that she'll take over the franchise after Cruz. But beyond all that, there's really only positives to gush over, so let's get to that. The first positive that I have is the story. Anybody that knows me really well knows that I can't really always follow spy movies. They always use big, complicated words, faction names, lettered organizations up the ass. It drives me nuts, man. And they practically live off of their complicated plots, and needlessly so. Or they're just so basic that they're boring. But this one, it feels a lot more straightforward than most in the genre, or even in this series. It's simple. A rogue AI is running around and no one knows exactly what it wants. The world powers want to control it. Powerful independent factions like the White Widow, reprised by Vanessa Kirby, wants to sell it to the highest bidder, whereas Ethan wants to destroy it. The powers that be send mercenaries to intercept the key and kill whoever has it. The Entity has a single emissary, Gabriel, Gabriel is connected to Ethan's past, which drove him to become the special agent for the IMF that he is today.
In a very real sense, he made me who I am today.
I have my questions, but I'll tackle that later. The point is, I can finally follow a spy story. I mean, come to me in a year and we'll see if I'll legitimately remember it, but as it stands, I know what's going on and I know why it's going on.
The entity knows who we are. Any move we make, it's probably considered it. Anything we do, we have to assume that it's counting on us to do it.
Now for the characters, specifically the new ones. Gabriel is the primary human antagonist, and Esai Morales delivers one of his more deliciously evil performances of his career. His best, I don't know, his take on Deathstroke was pretty sweet, and his role as Major Beck in Season 2 of Jericho will always have a special place in my heart. But if it's not his best role, it sure better catapult him into the stratosphere of mainstream popularity. And for the love of God, stay the hell away from such crap as Art of Love. You're too good for that, Morales. You were an Adama, for God's sake. Act like it. I might argue that he comes across as a little too cult leaderish, if that makes sense. It feels out of place when he spouts crap like a nutjob religious preacher. When he's being a conniving asshole to Ethan, that's when he's at his best, but not when he's acting holier than thou. Still, Morales does a fantastic job with what he's given.
He's a dark messiah, the entity's chosen messenger. And he sees death as a gift.
Pom Klementif also makes her Mission Impossible debut as a mercenary leader and is the right hand of Morales. Strange how the right-hand man has a right-hand man, but hey, what do I know about bad guy hierarchies? And finally, the action. Of course it's awesome, but I think specific scenes deserve a bit of recognition. We all know that there's a train scene. At the very least, you know about it. There's some quote-unquote controversy that the escape the train scene where Ethan is jumping all around, which the internet has equated to the opening scene from the hit video game Uncharted 2: Honor Among Thieves. The similarities are fun to point out. If you're a gamer, you caught on to that better than I did, which is sad. I played Uncharted 2, and those comparisons went way over my head. Maybe it's because Uncharted's parkour was outside rather than inside, like in this movie. I'm also reading this article that's pointing out a similar scene in Lost World Jurassic Park. The point is, no one cares. Trains are fun to destroy, and no one's gonna come up with the most unique way of destroying one. But this was a fun way of destroying one, and a lot of people are reminded of Uncharted 2. And that warms my heart, because Uncharted 2 is a fun-ass game. This movie is so freaking sweet! Definitely one of the best action movies of the year, and that's saying a lot. This has been a great year for action movies. My honest rating for Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, a strong 4 out of 5.
It's my job to use you, just like it's your job to be of use. Did you accomplish your mission or not?
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Hope to see you soon.
Face facts. You don't take time to sleep, eat, or drink, but just remember that it's later than you think. So be cool, just relax. So be cool.